Paul Pogba has dropped a major Manchester United return hint on his Instagram. Guys, what exactly is going on? Listen, Man United is in a desperate situation where anything can happen. It is very interesting and surprising that people have seen this hint from Paul Pogba and they are somehow acting a deaf ear. And I'm thinking, do you guys know who Paul Pogba is? Do you know that this is a product of Manchester United? Do you know what Paul Pogba could do if he joined this team? Welcome to the United Sport. Like, share, and subscribe. My name is Webb. Let's talk about what's going on now. First of all, of course, I know most of you would want to really see progress regards players like Patrick Dogu and all these new players Man United is being linked with. But the reality is, guys, we all know what's dragging the whole process. Now, there is an opportunity on the market in a former Man United player, an academy product, Paul Pogba, who is currently training so well, focused in the USA, to try in Miami, that is, to try and find his fitness. And look, he's now posting that on his Instagram. Paul Pogba, just a few hours ago, about 10 or 15 hours ago, posted that on his Instagram, an image of himself and his friend, I would say, Amad Diallo, because when Paul Pogba was at Man United as a senior player, Amad was one of the young upcoming players at the club. Now, Paul Pogba posts that cheeky thing, on his Instagram with him in a Man United jersey and Amad Diallo putting on the Chevrolet jersey, and then Amad Diallo is putting on the Snapdragon, and they are on the pitch together. Now, that, and then later he posts an image of himself overlooking Miami from his hotel, and he says, let's see what's coming soon, or let's see what's coming. Guys, this is not to mean anything that indeed Paul Pogba is joining Man United and stuff, but there were reports before, that suggested that, and he came out and, refuted them, saying there's nothing like that. He hasn't been at Carrington and stuff. But you see, with Man United, whenever a story is leaked first, even if it's from the list of credible sources, eventually later things begin happening. Things begin coming to pass. So guys, don't you rule out the possibility of Paul Pogba returning to Man United in what would be Pogba 2, if I would call it that. Now, and there are people, by the way, who think Paul Pogba flopped at Man United. In my view, he didn't, because Paul Pogba was carrying the whole club by himself, and he scored about 40 goals and assisted about 51. People thought because he won a World Cup, he should be winning a Premier League by himself with all the mediocre players around him, and how the club was swimming in issues. He was never going to do it alone. So Paul Pogba has never been a poor footballer. It was just the load and burden of the club that got so much of him, and he tried to sustain it. Now, obviously, the ideal thing wouldn't be for Paul Pogba to return to Man United. It wouldn't be ideal, because it's a new chapter. Ruben Amorim doing things different, doing things new. Definitely, you don't want to go back and forth with players who left and returned and left again. But the situation Man United is in, no money to buy players. The transfer window is ending. You need every decent player you can get who can come in on any possible terms. If it's possible to get them and they are decent, unless there are big issues, which we wouldn't know, were there any significant, huge issues between Man United and Paul Pogba? Are there big issues about his mentality and attitude? If they are, certainly we don't want such a player returning anywhere close to Man United. But if there are no issues like that, and Paul Pogba is assessed and is fully fit, because he can be playing football again in March, for me, I don't see a reason why Paul Pogba cannot return into this team, give us 2 years as we settle the ship, try to support Ruben Amorim and his team in terms of growing, because we've got a big issue in the middle. The biggest issue at Man United, and we could say it's the goals, which is okay, true. We don't score enough goals, but because the midfield too is not stable, it has been shaky, and it takes Bruno to be dropped, and he tries to balance it. But imagine if you have a player like Paul Pogba with his passing range, his long-range passes, his ability to play those long-range passes, his shooting, he gives us a whole different dimension that Ruben Amorim can work with. He's a strong player. All you've got to ensure is that he's fully fit. So, and this is a player you can get for free. All you've got to do is negotiate his wages. And I'm sure Paul Pogba knows he's not going to earn the so much wages he earned when he was at his prime. He certainly is going to be accepting a starter wage, maybe £60,000 per week, or 50,000 or 80 at most thereabout, which is money Man United can afford. So for me, if they can assess him and find him properly fit, if they can train with him and give him time to train with him, if they can ensure that his attitude is right, for me, Paul Pogba can do something with this team for a year or two as he moves on to Saudi, because he doesn't have so many years left in football. So guys, let's be honest, let's be real about it, let's put away the sentiments. And I know, again guys, disclaimer, I know we are rebuilding something new under Ruben Amorim, and we are cleaning this squad by ejecting the old, tomatoes, the Rashfords, the Casemiros, and name them. But we don't have the luxury of competing with the big clubs or big players. We are certainly going to look to rebuilding the team with academy players, but even academy players need a little bit of experience, need a little bit of inspiration. Now, if we let go of Christian Eriksen, Casemiro, these are two experienced players. We cannot just replace them with Toby Colley and Kobe, and that's it. Imagine if you drop in a Paul Pogba in there, who they grew up seeing and idolizing at the club when they were kids. He will be an inspiration. He will guide them. Paul Pogba might be reformed now because of the issues he faced. So if he's good, and again, the biggest question would be about his mentality, his ways and character, and the possible effect his presence would have on the young kids. If we can guarantee that that's okay, for me, Paul Pogba is a player Man United can listen to and add in this January. That's a signing that wouldn't cost you money. And you see, we're at a desperate state where if we try to spend money, it's going to be too much, because clubs in January, oversell players, but also because of the desperacy they say around United, clubs will want to take advantage. So if it's that, I mean, we don't even have the money in the first place. We are dragging with the Dogu deal. There is no significant progress with the Dogu deal. It's taking time. Of course, the personal terms were agreed, but personal terms mean nothing. We agreed personal terms with Gerard Branthwaite too. Did we sign him? It's about the clubs agreeing between them. So for me, I do strongly believe, because what Paul Pogba gives you is the passing range, is shooting, assisting. It's defensive. He has got power, energy in the middle, organization, experience, maturity, but also the fear factor about him. Pogba is a fierce player. So if Ruben Amorim looks at him, assesses him, and feels his mentality is okay, his character is okay, and he can get him for free, I think for me, I wouldn't be banging the table to hear that Pogba too is on. So that hint that he dropped is something we might want to overlook, but there could be something in it, because I don't think Pogba really would just wake up and post something like that and that's it. He's a showman. He loves, to be. He loves the news. He's trying to bring himself back into the papers, because that's who he is. He's a brand. He's a personality. His brand has been dead for nearly 18 months. He wants it back, and what better way than that? If he returns to Man United, what's the better? That would be the most shocking thing in football. But these are things Man United as a club lives for. That would mean more sales. They want money. Man United needs money. Do you know how many jersey sales Man United would make if Paul Pogba returned, Pogba 2 happened? Do you know how many people would buy his jersey if he returned? Do you know how much Man United would go up on the stock exchange? Because it would be on everyone's lips, because Pogba is that big a player. So if there is the chance that he could be, slotting in, I'll tell you, put him next to Manuel Ugarte. That is given that he's assessed, because I'm assuming by the time they make the decision to let him back, they have assessed him, trained with him, because he can train from now until March. He can train with a club of his choice, trained with him, and have seen if he's okay and good enough to fit in. If they establish that, then trust you me, put Paul Pogba next to Manuel Ugarte. If coaches want to play Bruno as a 10, Bruno will concentrate on his number 10 with Ahmad, the coach loves to do it. Or even Bruno is Man United's best finisher. There is no striker. Make Bruno the number 9 and let Kobe Maino play with Ahmad. as the two number 10s behind Bruno, because there is no better finisher at Man United than Bruno. Trust you me, that could be something. It's unpredictable, it's different, it's unique, but whatever Bruno can do in terms of playing the ball, in terms of making the team play, Paul Pogba can do 2 times better, probably, if he's fit. So there is a player in Paul Pogba there, and he's lurking around and now trying to hint on a possible return. But what exactly will happen with him? Let's wait and see how it will all go. My name is Webb. This is the United Hot Spot. Would you want to see Paul Pogba back at Manchester United? If there is a slight chance it can happen, like he hinted, Man United, solid backline, in the middle, Pogba, Ugarte, then up top you've got Bruno leading the line, Kobe and Ahmad, then Dogu on one wing, and whichever other wing back on the other. That would be a bit different. Ruben Amorim would have something to work with. Trust me on that. Let's follow this story. I'll keep you updated on it. My name is Webb. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.